and let's get started because I want to talk about rapid spring buildup. Friends, I know that this sounds redundant, but I've got to tell you, once I started really going after mites very aggressively, my hives really shaped up fast. No kidding. It was incredible. Yeah. And I know people say that, and there's a lot of people that have a variety of opinions about, why bees die. But I'm telling you what, wow, keeping your mites really low in your hive, 0 to 1 even, it makes all the difference in the world. Now, that's something you need to do in the spring. So I'm going to try to be nice about it and kind and loving and respectful. You do what you want to, but I'm telling you, if you want to have healthy bees that don't have viruses and are sickly, please start controlling your mites as soon as you can. Come out of winter and start controlling mites. That's the first thing we need to do. As soon as it's warm enough, 65 degrees Fahrenheit or warmer, it's okay to pull frames of brood out. That's usually where we find mites that we like to test on open brood, like eggs and larvae, or cat brood, pupae. We can test those bees, but you want to do an alcohol wash and test to see how many mites you have on 300 bees, and then you'll know what you need to do. And if you have more than 3, I would suggest you start using treatments or whatever mechanism you use. You might use drone comb, you might use powdered sugar dusting, but you need to keep testing. Don't let your treatment or your mechanical ways of getting mites, be something that you do without follow-up testing, because we have found these chemicals that would work normally. Sometimes maybe the manufacturer missed a step and didn't impregnate the strips like they should with the treatment chemicals. That's happened before. So don't trust everything. You got to really verify that your treatments or your methods worked. And so you have to retest. So if you do a green drone comb and a brood break or something like that, that's a great way to avoid not having to use treatments if that's not your thing. But you're going to have to go back in a couple of weeks and test again to see if they are reduced. So please hear me thoroughly. Let's get on that. And you're going to have much healthier hives, and you're going to cry less and be less frustrated when your bees aren't making honey. They won't make honey good if they're infested with mites and have viruses. They won't rapidly grow and multiply. All things fail. Really, all aspects of beekeeping's fail for us if the mites are in there spreading those viruses. So don't expect any rapid buildup until you get your mites under control. Spring's a great time to do that coming out of winter. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I always suggest that you test and then decide if you need to treat. A lot of my hives I don't have to treat because there's 0 or 1 mite per 100 bees, so I don't have to really worry about it. But if you start seeing it grow, and as the bees grow, time to test. But always test, treat, and then test. Another thing, obviously, on all of our minds, my bees are rapidly spreading and building up. They have brood in there, so they're going to be rapidly building up. And so what we have to do is monitor the space and give our bees room to grow. That's the tough one. Just want to recap again. Giving them space does not prevent swarming, because bees like to reproduce. Whether they have a lot of space or not, they will reproduce and make a new colony. So be careful about that. Don't assume just by throwing a soup around there that you don't have to do any swarm control. We do. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But monitor the space, because you want your bees not to have too much space and not to have too little space. Okay, so think about that. All these little nomenclature ideas of beekeeping is kind of tough if you're brand new, and kind of tough if you've been a beekeeper for a while. What do my bees need? How much room do they need? Now, let me talk something that I have found that's crazy. It's just crazy. But I experimented once, and I think I got a package, and for experimentation, I put it in a 5-frame nucleus. Only holds 5 frame, 9x20 box, and had 5 frames in it. And they grew so rapidly, that package did, And I was comparing it to putting a package in a 10 frame box. And lo and behold, they worked much faster in that 5 frame nuke box. Now, to be fair, I needed to have, 300 packages installed in deeps and another 300 installed in 5 frame nuke boxes, and then kind of evaluate it overall, how that goes with science and data. I did not do that. So it's kind of more anecdotal than anything, but I was shocked at how, and I have repeated it a few times, and it always is better. Do I recommend you do that? Well, you may not have the equipment or the time to fuss with that. Your bees will build up fine in an 8 frame or a 10 frame hive. I'm just saying that when they are very tight like that, I don't know if they can just work better because it's a tighter space. There's something that triggers the bees to really build up fast on those 5 frames. And you really have to work fast yourself to get them out of there and over to a 10 frame box, because if you leave them in there, they're going to swarm from congestion because they're going to run out of room. So monitor the space. I think that's a pretty good example of how if you give them too little room when they're growing, they can't grow. I mean, that's critical thinking, right? They're not going to grow if they're too confined. But if you give them too much room, now this happens a lot. Beekeepers tell me, hey, I bought a kit, 2 deeps, 2 medium supers, and I threw my package in there and put it all together, all 4 boxes, and they're not really growing that fast. Well, that's not the right way to do it, because what you want to do is really confine them, make them feel like they are in a confined area, and don't just put them in a big, 4 boxes. So it works better if you're working on installing bees or making splits. Even those of you that overwintered, been doing this a while, you've got to make sure they are confined at first. Make that split and then add another box when 5 or 7 frames in your single box has been drawn out with wax and bees are on it. They're using it. It's a little bit more than half used by the bees. It's time to add another box. And now some of you may not have heard me say this. I've said this for 18 years, but you may not have watched that particular video, and so you may not have ever caught it. But when you get to the place where you're single deep, whether you make a split or your package or nuke or something, when you get to the place where you need to add another deep on top of that deep brood box, the way that I suggest that you do it, take 1 frame out of that bottom box, the only box you have on there to grow, but when it has 5 to 7 frames, take 1 out that has open larvae, open brood, eggs or larvae, and then move that into your new brood box you're going to add to the top. Maybe it's undrawn foundation, put it right in the middle with bees and everything, and then put an undrawn frame where you remove that one in the bottom. What that does, it baits the top box. The bees see those little babies up there. They have to go up there and take care of them. It accelerates. I'm talking about rapid spring buildup. This is how you do it. And it accelerates those bees getting into that next box because you gave them a frame and they want to go up there and keep the little babies warm and fed. And all at once they start spreading out in that new box. Isn't that cool to do that? You really can't do that when you add a honey super. I can't, because my honey supers are medium size, and I can't bring a frame out of a deep and put it in a medium. It won't fit, but they'll get going on that. But when my top deep gets to be about 5 to 7 frames, I'll add my honey super, and usually I don't use a queen excluder unless the queen just won't stay out of there. Another problem with adding too much room this time of the year, if we could have another cold snap like we did a few days ago. We had it was like 70 degrees, thunderstorms, tornadoes, high winds one day. And then overnight, after that blew through, woke up to like a ½ inch of snow, blizzard conditions, and it was like 25 degrees. And then it got down to 13 degrees Fahrenheit that evening. So that could still happen where I live, maybe not where you live. So that's why I don't want to give them too much room just yet and start expanding things. But I know you're all in different places. So that brings us to this idea of swarm, rapid spring buildup. We rapid spring buildup is like this. This is a good illustration. So, some things you tighten up. I always use a joke. Some people say, how tight should I tighten this up, David? I said, tighten it till it breaks and then back off a little bit. And that means you got to tighten it as hard as you can, but don't break it. Well, swarming is like that. How do you deal with bees in the spring? Let them build up to their almost ready to swarm, like they're this close to swarming. And then you control that by cutting out queen cells or giving them another box. You control it by going in there every week, doing a weekly inspection, cutting out those swarm cells, making sure your original queen is in there. People make this mistake a lot. I'm sure I have in the past, or maybe even now, that you start cutting out the swarm cells because you don't want them to swarm, but they already did. And those swarm cells are their only hope for a future queen. So just take note that don't do that until you know your original queen is still in there. The only way to know that is she's marked. So if you're not into swarm season yet, brave it up, cowboy up, back here, say cowboy up, and get a marking pen. Go out there and mark your queen before you get into swarm season. That way you'll know if you've got your original marked queen before they start swarming. Otherwise, you just don't know. So you have to inspect weekly for swarm cells on the bottom of frames. So be aware of that. Have equipment ready in case you miss it. We all do. We're not perfect. Finally said that. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. And we'll miss a swarm cell and they'll swarm and they'll be in a tree. So you need equipment. Don't put them in a shoebox. Don't put them in a Tupperware container because that's all you got. Start thinking ahead now. Buy equipment to put those swarms in. And if it's not your swarm, someone's going to call you. So you need that equipment. Now, another way you can make splits, we've talked about that on the live stream already. You can go back to the last week or the week before, I think it was, where I talked about how to make different kind of splits. That's just 2 live streams back. You can always watch these live stream replays. And many of you do. I can tell by the views that you're watching them later. So if you miss one, feel free to always go back and watch the replay. It's not live, but you can watch the replay. It's always on YouTube. So you can control swarms by making a split. And another way to rapidly build up is what I'm doing. I went out there yesterday evening and late, right around sunset, and I started putting all my jars on. Look just like this here. That's me. I'm putting my Burns feeder board on there. I'm putting my jars with my additives in there. And then I put a deep box around that, or, you can use a medium box if you're using pint jars. And then you put a top cover on it. And so what we're doing here is getting our bees built up for spring. It's coming in a day or two, and we want them to have resources. Here in Illinois, listen to this. I know a lot of you have pollen. You love to tell me that you're got this blooming and that's blooming, and I think that's wonderful. Here in Illinois, there ain't nothing blooming. There's not a dandelion brave enough to bloom. Daffodils came up, and then me and Sherry looked at them today. Oh, they are weeping. Yeah, they're bent over. They got hit with that cold snap, and it did them in. Yeah, I don't think they're going to make it. That's too bad. They flowered and everything, and they got burned. So all of our trees, like apple trees and maple trees, they're smart enough to know not to bloom yet. So dandelions too. We don't have anything. So I gave my bees a lot of protein supplement, the yellow stuff. Ultra B is what I use. You may call it a pollen powder, but it's really a protein supplement for bees. And I've got it out there, and the bees are just going bat crazy over it. Oh my gosh, they are going crazy. So that's a good way, because they need this protein to start raising brood. So the more we can help them by giving them sugar water, protein, those nurse bees can start taking care of young larvae, raising brood. That's what we want. They got to eat that to produce mandibular or hypopharyngeal food, royal jelly. Okay, and then here's something too. This is a queen surrounded by a retinue. A retinue are the team of bees that take care of our queens. They feed her, they wash her. Wouldn't it be nice to have your own personal retinue? You see all these movies of kings sitting in chairs with a big thing of chicken in their hand, and all these people are fanning them and massaging them. That's kind of a retinue. It's a human retinue, but gosh. But here are these worker bees, and they're feeding the queen. Is that a drone at the top? Is he part of the retinue? That's wrong. That's a lazy drone. Get out of here and go mate with a virgin queen. But these bees will just take care of her and feed her royal jelly her whole life. But I want you to be picky. I want you to be really picky about your queens this year. I've found that some beekeepers, they may put up with a poor laying queen, and the best way to tell if she's laying good is by monitoring the capped over brood and see if it's got spots in it where, it wasn't capped over, and then maybe it's a solid brood pattern. You're happy, but you need to keep watching your queen, especially sometimes in early spring. People get packages, and those packages, for some reason, the queens occasionally, not always, but sometimes those queens just don't hold up good. And we all know that the sooner you get your package, those early queens have a chance of not being mated as well because they were raised so early before the drone congregation areas were filled up. It doesn't always happen. I'm just saying that's a propensity. I hear chatter about that if you get them too early, these packages, the queens won't last as long. Anyway, you need to monitor that, especially early in the year, and that she's got a good laying pattern. Don't be afraid to change her out. Don't put up with a poor laying queen. Your hive will never build up rapidly without eggs. You got to have 2,000 eggs a day in the spring. No kidding. Well, David, I thought it was 1,000 or 1,500. It can be 2,000, 2,500 in the spring. This is when the queen shines. Okay. So every day, 2,000 bees. In 5 days, you're adding a package of bees, 10,000 bees. The queen's adding that many a week. Now, you also need to consider for rapid spring buildup, those of you that are always frustrated your bees didn't draw out your foundation, if you're using plastic foundation. Man, I have talked about this forever, and I have given video evidence time and time again. Please add additional wax to your frames. Now, this is not a paid promotion, but I've had great success using Acorn foundation. You can buy it all over the place. You can buy it on Amazon, but make sure it's Acorn foundation. They have Acorn frames, I think, with the foundation in there, but I get double waxed and I don't have to wax it on there. I like that. It just saves me some time. But if you don't want to fool with that and you got some old frames already, scrape them off, re-wax them. Just buy some 100% pure beeswax from a beekeeper. You can buy it on Amazon too, but make sure it's 100% pure beeswax, and then melt it in a wax melter. I use an old frying pan that's dedicated just for wax melting. And you can use a roller. Rollers work better for me than paintbrushes. So buy a little roller at Dollar General. You guys have Dollar Generals where you live? Oh my gosh, I'm getting a hobby horse. I mean, there's a Dollar General everywhere in Illinois. You can't go anywhere where there's not a Dollar General. So there's no reason you can't go in there and buy a little 3-inch roller and get those frames waxed up before you put them in there. That's going to help you build up faster. Listen, it saves bees time from having to metabolize all the nectar they're eating and make wax out of their wax glands. So be sure and do that. Yep. So now you have to put your supers on strategically. Okay. You just can't throw them on there anytime you want to, because they may not be as effective. One reason is you don't want to put them on there until the hive is really showing you that they are so full. And a lot of us use the white wax technique. When we start seeing white wax on the top of frames, that's when the bees are telling us we need more room, and they will rapidly pull out these honey supers or a deep box if you can start to see just the beginning of little white wax on the top bars of frames. So that's a technique. But anyway, you need to add your supers to a strong colony. A lot of people will add a honey super to a hive that's kind of weak. Maybe they don't have all their frames pulled out in those bottom brood areas. And so they're going to first pull out the rest of the brood area frames before they get up in that honey super. And that's why you're frustrated that you think since you put it on there, they should pull it out. Well, they're working down there. And so you got to wait until they're really strong. And yeah, I would suggest adding one at a time. In the old days before small hive beetle came into our world, what was that, 89 or something? And we didn't have to worry about small hive beetles. So we could throw 6 supers on there. But nowadays you do that, you're going to get pests like small hive beetle, maybe wax moth hiding up in those empty boxes up there. So I don't like to put a lot. I only put enough in boxes on there where the bees can protect and walk around and keep other things from habitating inside those supers. So add one at a time. It helps a lot. Also, carefully monitor space. Did I already do that? I think I've already said that. Yeah, I did. All right. Oh, okay. We're done then. Okay. The word of the live stream tonight is festooning. Have we ever done that? I don't think we've done this word. It's a little familiar, but I don't think so. Now, festooning is a fun word to say. And what it means is that you can sometimes separate your frames, gently slide them, and you'll see bees holding on to each other. I always like to say holding hands, but they're kind of holding feet, I guess. They're holding onto their feet. And they do this, especially if they're building like a foundationless frame. You'll see them do this as a way that they produce wax while they're holding on. And then they build comb this way. They festoon. They're engineers. They're producing wax. They're holding on, taking measurements. They got their little tape measures out, trying to get that hexagon just right. I can see it now. That's not a hexagon. That's a square, idiot. Where's your tape measure? Use your right leg. So you gotta realize that bees have a lot to do on getting these things just right. And that's festooning is the way that they build comb like that. It's amazing. And I've always wondered too, bees don't build comb naturally like in a tree the way they do for us. We give them a sheet of foundation, either wax or plastic, and we make them build it on each side. That's weird, isn't it? Because in nature, they build the whole comb, both sides at one time. It's amazing they can even do what we ask them to do because that foundation's right in the middle of their way. They can't really do what they naturally do, but they pull it off because they're bees. All right. If you want to see all the words that we've talked about on our live stream, feel free to go to honeybeesonline.com/live. And then you will see a link there to all the past words that we've had that are really good. So if you've missed out on the, 20 something words, every night we have a word, you can refresh and learn a lot of these cool vocabulary words. It'd be a lot of fun for you. Okay. Well, let me take a sip of water. I know some of you probably have a lot of questions going on in your mind. You're like, oh, I can't wait to get onto the live stream because I went up to my hive today and this is going on. I'm not sure what I should be doing now. And your mind is just twirling with all these questions. I know. So let's go ahead and jump into some question time. Got a big crowd tonight. Thank you guys for being here. If you would, see if you can get 500 likes on the live stream tonight. Just hit the like button. I know some of you watch by TV, and I've had a couple of people tell me they have never figured out how to leave a comment on a TV when you're watching this on TV. You can do it, but I think it's very hard to do. Your best bet would be to use your phone or to use an iPad or, let's say, use your computer. And it's a much more enjoyable experience, really, to use a computer on the live stream. But television works. Don't change up if it works for you. Also, I know some of you are leaving donations. Thank you so much. Our donations are used to support the guest speakers that we have. We always pay our guest speakers. It helps us pay for shipping and the items that we give away. And we also like to treat our admin people really well, Robbie and Sherry and Jessica. So we don't just leave them out either. Okay, so we kind of help them a little bit. All right, so let's get into our question time. David, I lost a hive because the queen died. You know, I've got a hive that I need to check. I think I'll make a video tomorrow because last fall the queen was missing in action. Too late to really do much. It was cold. I mean, in my last inspection. And so I want to go out there and see. I threw a queen in there. I was going to bank a bunch of queens, but in the fall I lost a bunch of queens, just died. And so then I threw them in there on a cold day. It was like a last ditch effort. Just threw them in the hive and said, good luck. They were mated. So it'd be fun to go in there and see if I may be queenless too, but they're bringing in pollen. Doesn't always mean that. All right. Anyway, back to the question. Lost a hive lost a hive because the queen died. Should I use that hive and resource it to split if I see queen cups on my other hives? With honey and comb drawn out already, it gives them a head start. There's a lot you can do here. If you've got a queenless hive coming out of winter, yeah, if you do see a queen cup, or queen cell, you could always move that over. And you got to be in a season where she can go out on a mating flight. Got to have drones, lot to contend with all that. So, but yeah, you can pull that off, or you could, like you're suggesting, resource it out, take all those frames and move them around to support your other hives. Yeah, a lot of options. It's amazing how many options. I think people are scared to pursue options, but there are so many options, so many right ways to do it, and it won't hurt a thing. Dave, love your channel and have learned so much. What kind of insulation do you use around the liquid jars? I bought rock wool, but apparently it's not good for it to get in the hive. Oh, I don't know. If you're concerned about things getting through the feeder holes up there, what you should do first is take something to cover those up. You know, like if you have that little rectangle area on my feeder that you're not using a pollen patty on, just take duct tape, cover it up. Then you can use anything in there. Probably won't get in those other holes because you got jars on them. So that's one way to do it. I don't worry about this stuff. Bees are so particular about keeping their hive clean. It is insane. Try it one day. Take a piece of grass, one blade of grass, before you close it up after your inspection, lay it on let it drop between the top super frames, and then sit there and see how long it takes before they bring it out. It's like 3 minutes tops. They will take that blade of grass out. What's the best tree for bees that blooms in March and April? It really depends on where you live, Daniel. Right now, it's going to be our maple trees. They're starting a little bit now, making a little bit of nectar, a whole lot of pollen. Maple trees are a winner no matter where you live. But yeah, early spring trees are going to be all your fruit trees that will start eventually blooming, all those trees. But it's kind of tricky in it. I mean, if you want to plan for the future, plant trees. If you want to plant a plan for tomorrow, plant grass. So I'm too old to plant a tree. Oh gosh. Oh, thank you, Rita, for your donation tonight, your super sticker. All of you, appreciate you supporting the live stream. I have fun answering your questions. Hey, Randy, have you ever seen deep red pollen before? If so, what flower is it? Not much on it coming in, but it sure sticks out. I shared on the live stream a couple of times where somebody called me and said, my bees are bleeding. Their backs are blood red. What am I going to do? What disease do they have? It's just red pollen. Not really sure what plants produce that red pollen. I took botany in college, but I'm not all that good at it anymore. But leave a comment in the chat if you know which plant or tree produces blood red pollen. Probably a whole bunch of them, actually. It is kind of scary to see that. Bees don't have red blood. Hi, David. I live in Central Maine. I appreciate that you spelled Maine out. All these M states or a lot of them have these different abbreviations. Local commercial beekeeper says they send their virgin queens elsewhere to be bred. Is this necessary, or can we allow our virgin queens to breed with indigenous drones? We're talking about haploid diploidy genetics and beekeeping. That means that the queen is going to mate with upwards of 20 plus drones at a time. And so unless you send her off to have her instrumentally inseminated with controlled sperm from drones, it's really hard to keep tabs on all that. So I would not see it necessary personally. I would not do that. I would not send my drones away. But you know, if a commercial beekeeper has a friend and they have a tight, genetically tight yard, controlled genetics, that's probably why they're doing it. They can get more controlled, maybe VSH or mite resistant bees that way. Hi, David. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I was just there last month speaking. I hope you were there. Made it through the blizzard. 10-day forecast. Daytime temps will be 40 to 60. Low temps 20 to 40. Okay to feed 1-to-1 with Ultra B. I think so. I have heard people say that feeder jars, you know, the feeder jars have been around long before I was born, little holes in the jars, and the vacuum keeps the syrup in there. Some people say that the changing temperatures might cause that to leak out. And if that is a concern of yours, and I want to do that test, let's see, what's the low tonight? I don't know when I can do it, but all indications to me seems like that it would leak out more, which it doesn't, but it would leak out more when it got hotter rather than cold by expansion. But I think it has more to do with improperly sealed rubber seals around the jar lids or something. But I want to just turn one upside down. Oh, I can put it in the refrigerator or freezer. That's what I'll do. I'll put one in the freezer, see if it leaks out in cold weather, -0 in my freezer. But that's the only reason I would say, you know, if it's going to drop down to 20, plus we also have been told that bees won't eat it if it gets below 50. I found that not to be true. And the reason I found out is because my bees ate it at 30 degrees and 20 degrees. They did. I watched them. And the jar went down when it was cold. I left them on in cold weather. They didn't drip for me, and the bees ate it because they're clustered, they're warm, they're eating liquid. So you're going to have to make your own decision on that one. But I do, and I love it. I'm happy about it. I'm not going to apologize for doing it. It may not work that way for everybody. Climates might be different, but it works good for me. Hey, Carrie, good to see you. Considering frame cage for summer brood breaks. Yeah, those are cool. I don't have one over here. No, I do. Hang on. Oh, no. Darn it. That's something else. No, that's not what that is. They're way over there. But yeah, it's a queen cage. It's a box. It's a queen cage made to put a frame in there. And it's really cool. It's all sides are just queen cage material. Queen excluder material. So thoughts on using undrawn green drone frame with the queen in the frame. Thanks for the great teaching. Love the ultimate package. Oh yeah, I'm going to answer this question, Carrie. By the way, all of our classes, our online courses go on sale now. Don't leave the live stream. They'll still be there till March the 31st. So we always do that in the spring. Offer our my online classes at half price. So pick those up if you can. The ultimate course is all 7 courses. So yeah, you can do the green drone comb in that queen thing and let her, you know, lay in there. That works good. That's been recommended by a lot of people. Yep, that'll work good. And that's for mite control, by the way. For those of you wondering what a green drone comb is, mites prefer the young drones or drone development cycle, and they'll get in there on those frames. Yep. David, why do you take the leftover winter bee kind pieces off when putting on a new winter bee kind? Why not leave them on top of the frames? It's because my new winter bee kind won't fit on there. The candy and the spacing is such where it just wobbles and doesn't seal good. That's the only reason I take it off. If it was small enough where it stayed out of the way and I could seat it properly, I would leave it on there. The ultimate course. Wow. Greatly recommend it. Well, thank you. I'm wanting to make splits. Yes. I've had a hard time finding my queen. Who doesn't? Everybody does. Nobody has that easy. I mean, if it's easy, you just got lucky that she was right there shining like a bright ray of light in your face. I want to have honey production without having swarm? How can I stop swarming and make splits? Well, by making a split, you are going to curtail swarming, because if you take the old queen, I shouldn't say old, the parent queen out of the parent hive away from that hive that's wanting to swarm, they won't swarm without a queen in there. And I give you 30 days to postpone that. That's the way I love to do swarm control. And they'll make honey too. You make a little split, I'll make 4 frames, but you could make a split with 2 or 3 frames and they'll recover quickly and still make you honey. Yep. Oh, there's Danny. David, I'm in Kentucky. Were you at the Bluegrass Beekeeping School? That was so fun being there. It was a big deal. I loved it. I spoke there. I gave, I think, 2 or 3 talks and met a lot of fine people. They treated me so good at that school. Oh my gosh, they were just head over heel kind to me. I thank you guys. Anyway, I have 2 packages of bees coming April 2nd. Okay, that's not bad for your area. What do you think the bees are going to adjust to Kentucky weather coming from Georgia? You know, it'll be fine. Obviously, they're building up. So if in Kentucky you don't have a lot of flowers, when you get your bees on April 2nd, you probably do. Because when I was down there, I saw stuff blooming. And so a lot of stuff is out there. They'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Oh, need 190 more people to hit the like button to make it to 500. There you go. If you like this video, hit 190 more. Do you guys treat the ground around your hives to control mites? Monica, the best way that I can answer that is that GrubX is a known grub control, granules that you throw out on your yard. And for us here, we have those moles and all those critters that make those mounds of dirt in our yard, and we have to control the grubs to cut down on them tearing our yard up. So GrubX is not designated for small hive beetle grub control, but it does kill any grubs in the ground, including small hive beetles. So take that for what it's worth. David, my husband and I bought your classes. We have learned a lot. Thank you for offering them. Well, thank you, Rick and sorry, can't say that. Ginger, but I appreciate you taking the class. Yeah, that's great. Online courses. That way you can take them when you want to. You don't have to go anywhere. And you can pause them, take a break. No limit when you can go back. A year later, you can pick it up again. Hey, Mike, what temperature would you take your wraps off? 104 Fahrenheit. Because I took them off too early. And then that cold snap came out on us. And I'm out there freezing my fingers off, trying to put the wrap back on. So I'm going to wait until it's like 105, like they've been having in California and Arizona. It's still winter out there. And have you seen those temperatures? Some of you live there. Whoa, it's hot. Wow. Well, it'd be tempting to take them off, but boy, we could have a cold snap again. I'm going to wait. Wait. Yep. Time is slipping. I started with 2 nukes. The next closest hives are 4.6 miles away. That's very precise. Not 4.5 miles, 4.6. Looking to expand through splits. Should I be buying queens to add genetic and avoid inbreeding? Inbreeding is not that big of a deal. I mean, for most people where you live, gosh, haploid diploidy has to line up so perfectly just right to get inbreeding. It can happen, but you know, Mother Nature is good about not letting that happen. But here's the thing, though. You can get better production quicker if you buy mated queens than waiting 30 days to get those queens mated. And yeah, there might be more controlled genetics too. 160 more likes. Come on, people, give it a like. Well, where's the like button at? David Percy from Alabama. One of my 3 bees swarmed today in Alabama. Well, there you go. Planned on splitting next week. Yeah, that's the way bees work. They read your mind. Hey, guys, Percy's thinking about splitting next week. Well, then let's swarm now. There's a lot of bees out there talking like that, you know. David's going to check us in a week. Let's swarm today. Don't know which hive swarmed. How do you know which hive to split? Which hives to split? Help. Yeah, here's the only way to know, Percy. You had to be there to witness it. Really, it's hard to tell. I mean, you can go in there and start. If you had marked queens, that's a dead giveaway because you won't have your marked queen. You'll have a queen that doesn't have a mark on her. But if you didn't mark your queen, you go in there and look and you think you had, 40,000 bees in there and you know one of them swarmed. Let's say, what do you have, 3 hives or something? And you look through all 3, they all three of them look like they have as many bees that they had before they swarmed. And you're thinking, well, none of them look smaller, and it's hard to tell. It really is. Queen's about the only thing to give it away. One more, and then we're going to have a giveaway. Please wait and start guessing. Don't start guessing the name of our giveaway, please. If bees are building comb in the winter beekeeping board, do I need to add a super right away? If it's warm enough, yes, you can. I just hate to put supers on right now and get them working up there. Number one, I don't have anything for them to go get. There's nothing blooming. There's nothing. So it wouldn't work for me. But if things are blooming and they have nectar coming in, yeah, I think putting that on there would be a good idea. Now, what I want to give away today is a special item that I'm loving. I paid for this with my own money, and I don't like to get free stuff. But anyway, this hive tool, I'm going to give this hive tool away tonight. It's the one that I used starting mid to late last year, and it is a J hook with the attached beetle smasher. That's always been my negative comments about the doggone J hook. They don't have a way to kill a beetle very easily, but these you can smash beetles with. And what is so good about this and why I'm recommending it, it's a pet peeve of mine that I have griped at forever. And I'm going to show this to you. Look at that gradual angle on here. Do you see that? That goes between your boxes so nicely. It is so tapered. Some of them have a quick taper and it jams up between boxes. A beautiful hive tool. This is, I don't know exactly if this is a KW hive tool or if it's a knockoff. Kent Williams came up with this concept. I know Kent, he's a friend. He's an EAS master beekeeper too. KW hive tool, you can buy these, but a lot of places, you'll see these for sale at conferences. I picked these up when I was at one of the Wisconsin conferences. An Amish vendor was selling these, so I don't know where they got them, but I picked up 2 of them. I wanted to give one away on the live stream. Hashtag tool is what you will put in the comment. Just one time, it's, type that in there once. It'll be hashtag tool, and we'll ship this out to you. Do you want me to put a little Beak Squad sticker on it? We have a lot of things Beak Squad. Next week, we're going to be giving away some Beak Squad stuff, but we have stickers. I can put a little sticker on there or something. Some people have me autograph hive tools. Look at that, hats. We have all these merchandise things that you can buy with our Beak Squad. Okay, so anyway, let me answer a few more questions. All right. Hey, David, I have a queen who is laying eggs some days and then stopping, then restarting again for a few days, then stopping again. She's got plenty of drawn comb to lay in. What's happening? Okay, let's talk about food, nutrition. Is there enough bees? You have to have nurse bees to feed her. Those nurse bees have to have a way to make royal jelly. Usually they need bee bread to do that. So, is everything nutritionally there for the nurse bees to feed the queen? Because you can imagine producing 2,000 eggs a day. She is eating a lot of royal jelly. That's the first thing I would look at. Otherwise, she could be running out of stored sperm. Something's wrong. You may need to replace her. Thanks for the donation, by the way. Hello from Northeast Ohio. Thank you for all you do, Dave. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's so kind of you. Do you have a preferred or suggested method for doing a simulated brood break as part of the viral control? Yeah, I've made videos after videos after videos. Go to my YouTube channel. I don't just do live streams. I have a whole YouTube channel with over 1,000 videos. David Burns Beekeeping. type in David Burns Beekeeping Brood Break, and you'll be flooded with videos that I've shown you how to do it. Yep. By the way, tomorrow I'll be making another video answering all the questions that I didn't get to answer in this live stream. Okay. You guys have, I didn't think you'd like the green answer day, chair answer day. I didn't think you really liked it, but gosh, you're loving it. Oh my gosh. You guys are watching that and telling me how much you like that green answer day chair answer. I got to figure out how to say that right, but it's when I sit in a green chair and answer all your questions, and you guys really like it. Thank you. I'll be doing that again. David, can you put a split in a 10 frame and have a follower board installed to encourage growth like you were talking about? Okay, a follower board, for those of you that are not familiar with that, that'd be a good word on my word of the day. A follower board is like a frame, but it's solid. It's big. It doesn't have any way for bees to build out on it. So what it does, it confines the space, because you put it in there, it hangs like a frame, but it reduces the space they have. It would be perfect to use that. You might need 2 of them, keep them in the middle, but yeah, you can do that for sure. All right, let's have our giveaway. All right. Oh, a Damari method question. We'll do that later. Let's have our giveaway now. Don't want to run out of time. Is my clock working? Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, Robbie, let's see who's going to win the hive tool. It's a J-hook hive tool. You've seen me use this recently with a curved on it scraper. I love all those features on that hive tool. And it's long, and it's got that gradual way, that tip on it, gradually get under those boxes. That's good. Oh, here we go. Who's going to win? Look at all the people here tonight. All your names are going by. I'm trying to, oh yeah. A lot of you I know personally by recognizing your name. Well, there you go, Floyd. Congratulations. Be sure and email us within 24 hours at Beak Squad Winner, scrolling at the bottom there, beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. And that way you can tell us where to ship it to, and we'll get that shipped right out to you. All right. That's fun. All right, hit me with some more questions. Let's have some rapid fire questions. The more questions I answer tonight, the less I have to answer tomorrow. Damari method. Damari. Can you have a queen in the bottom box and also a queen in the top box? That will happen. There is probably not enough separation with just queen excluders. You try it and see. If you had a queen excluder up there on the top box and one way down there to hold her down, yeah, you might get by with it. That's going to be a tough one, because the bees are the ones transferring the pheromones around. What temps are good to start one-to-one feeding temp? Yeah, I answered that. Hey, Jeremiah. I would say for me, I'm doing it now. I'm going to leave them on there unless it just really gets freezing cold again. And then I'll take them off and insulate the tops where they were. And I guess for me, it's going to have to get into the 20s before I remove them. Fahrenheit. Getting new nukes this year. Good. If the queen isn't marked, is it best to mark her with this year's color or last year? I wouldn't sweat that small stuff. I really wouldn't. I probably would mark her this year. At least she may be a year older, but it's close enough. And that is probably going to be easy to find a color this year. Have you used the double screen board method to split your hive? Yeah, I have. I prefer to just split it by a different method. And so I don't use that. I think it's great to use it. A lot of people enjoy using it. It's a preference. Some people like Ford, some people like Chevy, some people like Hondas, Toyotas. It's just a preference way that you do it. Oh, what if my bees aren't building comb and checkerboarding foundation is wax? Any other tips? Yeah, that's kind of tough, isn't it? So the issue is you don't have enough bees of the 12 to 17 day old bees. 12 to 17 day olds are wax makers. And if you don't have enough of them, or they can't ingest enough honey or nectar or sugar water, they can't manufacture, metabolize is the word, wax. So all of that has to work. You have to have the right age bees, a lot of them, and they have to be consuming a lot of honey or nectar or sugar water to make wax. That's probably what's missing. One of those equations is not there. Hi, David. Instead of a swarm trap, can I set up a hive with Swarm Commander and leave an opening at the top? You know what? Absolutely, you can. I know all of us have this idea that if we make the perfect swarm trap the certain way with a certain height off the ground in a certain facing direction, then we'll get a swarm. It's really not about the box. It's really about the old comb in there. It really is. I've read that even better than Swarm Commander, the lemon smell, is the old comb. If you find some, I'm talking about 4 or 5 year old comb that's been used in the brood area, that seems to really attract bees to want to go in there more than necessarily more than the lemon. The lemon is kind of, the smell is used once bees find it and they start going in there. I spotted my first drone today in southeast Missouri, Cape, near Cape. I should be able to do splits now, right? Theoretically, LOL. Oh, let's see. When I do splits, if I just saw drones, maybe, yeah, I kind of like to wait a little bit longer, but that's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah. That way you stay ahead of the game. That's for sure. All right. Couple more questions tonight. And then we'll do spin. I'll get spin the wheel in here. Okay. We got time for that. I bought 2 packages of bees. I picked them up April the 18th, located in Springfield, Illinois. I'm brand new. Well, congratulations. Everybody give a round of applause to the new beekeeper. I'm going to sign up for your classes, but what should I feed the bees right off the bat? It's best to feed them 1-to-1 sugar water. Here in Illinois, you're in Illinois, you could get a cold snap. They may not have the ability to go get flowers and such when it rains in the spring. 1-to-1 sugar water. I like to put additives, but you don't have to. 1-to-1 works good. All right, let's do the spin the wheel, see where it lands. I like doing this. I really do. All right, so we got time to do this. There it goes. Where is it going to land? Nobody knows. A lot of stuff can happen on there. A lot of things on here. Oh, David and Sherry's book. Sherry and I wrote a book. A publishing company contacted us, and we wrote a book in 2020. All you need to know about backyard beekeeping. And so we're going to give that book away. I don't have a copy right here on my desk, though. But yeah, it's a book about, it's probably this thick as this vocabulary book, about that thick. But we'll autograph it for you. And so #book. #book. You can win. Now, if you already have it, thank you for purchasing it. No need to buy it again. Let somebody else try to win it. All right, let's have it. Oh, yeah, I want to tell you about a new merchandise that we have. Look at this shirt. This is something new that Candy made. It has been a hit. I think it went online today, and they've already sold a bunch of these. On the back, it says, "I've got your back, David Burns, Beak Squad." And on the front, it's got the Beak Squad sticker. A lot of you wear my Beak Squad merchandise at conferences. You come up with a hat or a shirt. I like that. I know you're a Beak Squad member, so it's really cool. So we will, they're using the Gildan soft style t-shirts. That was my request because that's my favorite feel of a shirt. I like it. It doesn't shrink crazy when you dry it a few times. And that was my request to put, make a really good shirt, quality shirt. So yeah, so there you go. Where do they go, Robbie? With that website on there, if they want to buy? Oh, at the bottom, there it is. Okay, order at creationsbycandy.myshopify.com. Write that down, and you can get that shirt. Pretty cool shirt. I got your back. What that means is I'm here to help you guys out, and I'm always got your back. All right, let's have a giveaway for the book, Robbie. #book. Get that in there in the comments or the chat real quick. #book. Who's going to win the book that Sherry and I wrote on beekeeping? All you need to know to start backyard beekeeping. All right, let's give her a go. All right. Thanks again, guys, for being here. Did we make that 500 likes? Did we get close to that? Robbie's shaking his head yes. Oh, Dustin, there you go, buddy. You got the book. Email us within 24 hours, beaksquadwinner@gmail.com, and we'll get that book sent out to you. I want to thank you all for being here on the live stream tonight. Wow. I don't know how 59 minutes squeaked by while we were sitting here having so much fun, I guess. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. That's for sure. So thank you guys so much for being here. I want to thank you guys, all of you, for the donations that you made tonight. You can always go to our website, honeybeesonline.com, and you can leave a donation there for the live stream. On the left column, there's a place there. If you don't want to leave it here, you can leave a donation on our live stream to help support the live stream. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of the week and great weekend. Remember, check out my green chair answer day video tomorrow. I'll probably publish it around 3 or 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And I'll be answering the questions that were not answered, we didn't have time to get to. I'll try to hit them all tomorrow. So, gosh, I want to thank Jessica, Sherry, and Robbie for doing an outstanding job tonight. Thank you guys for being here. I love and appreciate all of you. I have the greatest respect. And remember, you're the hero in this. I'm here to help you be the hero in beekeeping. I'm here to support you. I've got your back. I'm going to help you. Okay. Don't freak out. Don't panic. If this is your first year, take a deep breath, relax. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys. Good night. I'll see you in the next video.